Привет из Дубая! С вами передача «Голубь мира», где разбираем крутые навыки. Спрашиваем на английском, отвечаем на русском. Подтягивайте язык или смотрите перевод в тайм-кодах. Let's talk about re-engineering and let's start with the definition.
Reingeniring is a very funny thing. When you have a process, when you have a project, when you have a company, you could disassemble it and assemble in another way. We have a lot of different skills in school of troubleshooters, and we could re-engineer company, we could re-engineer process, we could re-engineer a lot of different stuff. But for example, I will give you such a case we have been doing for last week. We have examined main page of our troubleshooters school site, and we found that the volume which would be downloaded by the user in order to view our program and to buy our books would be like 800 kilobytes. Quite a lot, and we started to check it through the page inside. This is a service provided by Google, and it shows us that quality of our site is 24 point from 100 for mobile phones and something like this for desktop. And for sure, it's very slow. We start to make a re-engineering. I download all the scripts. I load them in the Word, the Microsoft Word. So for sure, I could use any kind of editor, for example, a very nice Japanese Emurasoft editor or maybe some other. But I was especially doing this in Word to show that we could do it by hands. And then after I was rewrite some code, the size of main page of School of Troubleshooter sites decrease up to 170 kilobytes. So like 6 times less. And now we have exactly 100 point from 100. So nothing was changed. If you will look at the site, everything looking quite the same. But this is re-engineering. Why it's happening? Why, when you write your site, you start from the scratch and your code is quite well. But after you start to check some pieces, to write some parts, and suddenly it's became like made from patches. I don't know, is it okay to закладка, patches?
Yes, that's correct.
And suddenly you will find that your site is working very bad. So this is one way to make engineering.
And when we look at the re-engineering process, like when we try to map out all the things, like what exactly we'll need to work with, probably it will be a system or item or process or person in place, and what might be the other actors or other components, or maybe even the connections that they may have in between that we need to have in our picture of the world or like in our observation view in order to start the process properly.
There are different kind of engineering could be used in real life. First, you could do something because you're working with a black box. For example, you have a micro oven or you have TV set, and you will change some micro scheme or memory modules or something like this. And you will just open this box, you will make some repairing or engineering, and then you will close it. It's very easy one, and no one will make you like a winner. But for example, if you work with a company or with some staff, with some team, they will make a lot of resistance. They will say, we used to make this project or this process for very long time, so there is no need for engineering. And in this case, you should make it on the Fox steps, so it should be avoiding pressure for people. And you should eliminate from the process all the bosses which could lead to some delays because they go to gyms, they go to restaurants, they go to meetings. So if you will eliminate them all from the process will go much better, and it will become smooth. If you are working with a project, usually to make re-engineering, you need to be very experienced in such kind of industry and the sphere. For example, right now we're doing some steps with Artem Samsonov. He is from Tyumen city, and he was working with, I don't know how to say, mining of oil and gas. What's the name of this process? Добыча.
Drilling.
Drilling, yes,
Probably
yes,
drilling.
drilling, yes. And we write some schemes, and sometimes this process could be described, for example, for 20 minutes. But when we make reengineering in very small and slight ways, suddenly we decrease this time to approximately 20 seconds, to 200 seconds.
And when we look into the process itself, obviously, like it might be having a certain stages, or maybe like a certain iterations, or maybe repeats, or maybe dead ends. So again, like if we would try to look into the roadmap of the process of the re-engineering, like how it starts and how it usually ends, or maybe there might be like a different ending as well.
First, you should make everyone come. So you should talk to everyone. This is obligatory. I do not like this part of the engineering, but I have no other way to do it. So you should talk to every person which are involved, and you should understand what is the role, what is the hope, what is the what kind of I don't know how to say. In German, it would be like a Schmiergeld. In the English, it would be like a bribe. You should give some kind of bribe, взятка.
That's correct. Bribe is correct.
Sometime you will be forced to make additional task or additional job, additional work, not exactly with subject of your engineering, but a bit step left or step right, in order to get access to people's mind, or to get to obtain their одобрение, approval. Second, you should write a scheme. What are you doing? This could be a scheme of electric circuit. It could be a scheme of process, or maybe it would be like a roadmap of a project. Then you should find what you could make better. Maybe there are a lot of iterations, maybe there are a lot of steps, but there are not such a person who could know everything. So, for example, if you have a process, you are able to improve maybe in 5 or 6 points. And then you should understand, if I will apply some forces, this would be a nice leverage, great leverage to make process make faster or smooth or not. And then you should start to press on these points. And a lot of people, they trying to understand what was the result, and what was the reason of this result. But in real life, if you have result, you should be happy, and there is no need to know what exactly point was working better than others.
And you mentioned that the black box approach, and for this particular part, I also have like some sort of like a question. So the other day I was trying to decompose this Samsung fast charger because it stopped charging, and what I realized, like, there is no way to go inside because everything inside is like quite solid. So I was thinking, okay, maybe I'll take an extra step and maybe try to cut it like in between. But again, like I realized there is another layer of thing that I cannot go through. So probably with re-engineering, sometimes we might be going or facing the process that seems to be rock solid, and we need to understand till which extent we are going to continue so that everything is intact, or what might be the cost that we, or damage that we can deal, but still, like figure out like how the process work and whether it's possible to re-engineer it back. So how do we use, like maybe some sort of mathematical approach, or maybe like a common sense approach to figure out when to stop and whether we still can, like keep the system usable?
Several days ago, I was asked, is it possible to make Russian copy of Wikipedia? I was asked by Ministry of Information of Russian Federation, and he was asking me, is it possible just to make a copy of Wikipedia? And I told him, if you will make a copy, you will be like a pirate, and everyone would point you by the finger, and you saying that you have created nothing. You just make a copy. It's very low style. But we will make some calculations, and we will copy just like 5 or 10% of Wikipedia, and all other we will create from the scratch. We will take just those articles which are very hard to write. So I will calculate how many efforts should we use to write any kind of articles. And if they are quite small, if they're quite easy, and there are no a lot of cross references and so on, we will place an order, and some students from several high educated institution will write this article, and then they will be checked by their professors and associated professors. And I was making calculation already for like, I don't know, maybe 100 times, and I found that we will copy maybe not more than 5,000 pages, and it will take us probably less than 1 hour. So we'll copy a very small part of Wikipedia, but this would be the, I don't know how to say, this is как мозговая часть косточки, like a brain the bone, but I don't know how to say it.
Maybe like a foundation or like a bare bone or something like that.
Yes, maybe. And you know, if you make this, it will help you to understand that if you make reengineering, oftenly you should make copy just a small part, not to copy engine, not to copy I don't know, interface or how this car looking or how this process will be known for everyone. You should make copy very slightly, and then you should make like a motto for artist. You should steal like an artist. You should steal, but you should make improvement. And if someone will say, you are a thief, everyone will say, this is a quite good modification. This modification is almost close to be like invention.
Well, I guess it's similar to like when you win something, no, you're not being judged by anyone, even if it's like a stealing, everyone knows like that actually you did like so many efforts. So it's, like something that to be admired. Well, and my last question will be how knowing about re-engineering could help to make the world a better place.
If you will make something in your life, anyway, you will be forgotten. In 20, in 40 years, the grass on your grave would became so high that no one could read what was written on your tombstone. But if you make engineering and you will help to many people, maybe you will stand among other people who have created something. You know, a lot of people, they were not inventors, they were re-engineers. For example, if we will take like teletype, if we will take like a lot of different techniques among computers, if you, for example, will talk about some interfaces for websites and so on, a lot of this stuff was just re-engineered. For example, computer mouse was invented by Xerox, but it was re-engineered by Steve Jobs. The same first interface was originally made not by Apple, it was made by Microsoft, but it was redesigned by Apple. So if you could think as a re-engineer, you could find some ideas which are not estimated well, underestimated, and you could give them a great value.
А мы рассмотрели навык реинжиниринг и чем он полезен именно вам. Всем мира!